Evening, everybody. My name is Sean. Nice to meet you. What's yours? I've been asked to record myself cooking a dish from my native country, and or a dish important to me in one way or another. And I've decided to go for vol au vent, which is a dish, pastry-based dish. Originated in my mother's native country of Belgium. Fun place for about 2 weeks. I'm not the biggest fan of it myself, but that's neither here nor there. Now, I'm saying it's technically vol au vent because the dish is named after the pastry you would theoretically put any filling of your choice in. What I will be doing tonight, considering my lack of an oven space and also the appropriate pastry cups, I am just going to be cooking the filling that my mother used to make for them in when I was younger. Good stuff. Good stuff. It's pretty simple. Just a handful of ingredients, really, but it turns out to be a really hearty meal. If you find yourself also having difficulty finding those kind of pastries, I think rice is a good substitute if you still want to make this sort of mix filling, because it is really good. Or you could eat it on its own with a piece of bread. I'm gonna eat it on its own, considering that this meal is enough to put a bear into early hibernation, and it is the middle of the summer. So yeah, I'm gonna get started. I've already prepped a couple of things. You've got my onions here, like 2 small onions. I usually I don't really work well with measurements, especially in savory cuisine. I base it off of the amount of protein, and just one fella, got some chicken in here, got some cut up onions, got some pre-cut mushrooms. I'm not going to use all of this, of course. The mushrooms you want to go for are champignon or champignon adjacent. Yeah. White wine we'll need later. But I'm going to get started. I'm going to get started by turning an unfortunately induction stove on and pouring some olive oil in the pan. Gonna let that heat up. Yeah. Gonna do a lot of ums because I'm not necessarily used to performing, in a sense, for a camera. And I am also a very slow cook, so this might be awkward. We're gonna try. I'm gonna wait for the oil to heat up, then I'm gonna toss my onions in, followed by the mushrooms, and then we'll go from there. Seems to have been a bit of water left in the pan. Don't want to be doing that when working with oil. Yeah. I think it's hot enough. I'm gonna throw my onions in. You hear a bit of a sizzle, even though it's an induction stove. Should I throw my chicken in there? It'll be easier to season, Don't need this big ass Tupperware. Excuse the language. Now, one thing worth noting is that your mushrooms are likely to shrink quite a bit while they're cooking, so you know, throw in more than you think you'll need, I would argue. Is a good rule of thumb, generally speaking. I do intend that maybe threw in a bit too much, but we're not going to be complaining. No. Good stuff. Now, I want to mix it up just barely. Let those flavors get to know each other, if you will. And once, you know, both elements are comfortable in their environment, I'm going to go ahead with adding salt to the equation. What the salt does, as far as I know, is it's gonna help both onions and mushrooms alike release all the flavor that they're holding, which release all the water that they're holding, so it cooks better and the flavors sort of get to know each other. Water evaporates, all that moment over. I'm gonna add pepper too, just because we're already at it. And then I'm gonna allow this to sit for a bit. And head on to seasoning my chicken. Yeah, I've already, like, it's really just started now. It's like I haven't put enough mushrooms in there. It's a bit more just in case. A couple more. Oh, wait, 7 minutes. Well, I've been doing this more. Alright, as far as chicken seasoning goes, I'm gonna take these out, there's nothing saying in them anyway. Oh no, it's connected to the phone, never mind. I don't know if like the microphone of these is connected to the phone as I'm recording this. Yeah, first time. As far as chicken seasoning goes, I want to be very simple, because it is a very simple and hearty dish. So I don't want to go overboard with the seasoning. I'm just gonna make sure it had some flavor to it. So I'm just gonna add a drizzle of olive oil. Hope that sticks. And salt. Pepper, got some red pepper flakes because I would like a bit of heat in my own meal. You could go without it if you'd like. Not the best at seasoning things. I just sort of wing it a lot of times. But I've been liking this meat mix quite a bit with just like rosemary and smoked paprika. So I'm gonna throw a touch of that on there. Mix it all together. And maybe just a couple of drizzles of everyone's favorite secret ingredient. And mix it all together. Naturally, I'm gonna wash my hands after this. But there'll be plenty of other things that I do that might scandalize you in this cooking process, but you know, if you have a problem with it, do it yourself. That's what Grandpappy always said. That's not true. I'm making up fake anecdotes. It's what normal people do when they're alone. Tell you what, maybe show me a big I don't think these guys are exactly champignons. They're big fellas though. They've been cut in a very not rough way. No, yeah, it's a rough cut, I would argue. Yeah, I'm gonna add just some more seasoning. Just so. If anything comes out of there. Yeah, I like to smell that. Good stuff. I might turn the light on, just make sure I'm not burning anything. Yeah, you can tell. Unfortunately, nothing's sticking too much to the pan because of all the water that's coming out of both the onions, but especially the mushrooms, I would argue. I'm gonna let that sit for a bit more. Why not? Some of these onions are still, really not onions, these mushrooms are still sort of holding on to their size. I'm gonna let that cook a bit more, maybe toss in a knob of butter so nothing sticks. And I will be tossing in more butter later. Oh, another ingredient I haven't mentioned yet, heavy cream, which will come into play a bit later in a prominent manner. See that? See me just not, oh. I don't know what I'm doing. Still just cooking. Just having a good time in this pan, you know? It's just cooking. And I would be too if I didn't have AC in this tiny cramped apartment. I would also be cooking. Metaphorically speaking. Right now I am cooking quite literally. My mushrooms are in a good spot. My mushrooms and onions are in a good spot. I'm going to throw a bit more butter in there, mix that in with it, and then I will be following suit with the chicken. Which I know some people will tell you not to put raw meat into these kind of mixtures. Or I've heard some people say that. I've never personally had a problem with it, but I'm also not a personal chef or like a professional chef. So do not rely on me for any safety guarantees. That sounds good. Ooh. You know? Shake a bit more spicy there. I don't kill nobody. I want a bit more butter too. That probably did kill some people. Also, next, break that chicken up. If it happened to have gotten stuck together, like mine has, let it cook for a minute. I'm gonna do some slight prep work on my final plate, which is, you know, don't be expecting nothing fancy, because that's not what you're here for. That's not what you're here for. Or rather, it's not what you should be here for. You should be here for a good time. Get to know each other. Maybe a good meal, too. Let's see how it comes out. Just ripping up of a cadena, you call them and everything. Essentially like a sour equivalent of a pita bread or a burrito wrap. Yeah. Every culture has them. I'm turning the heat up. We're gonna get crazy up in here. Turn the heat up by 1 point. I don't know if I made it clear enough before. I'm not the biggest fan of induction stoves. Not for me, man. Not for me. I'm already getting the smells. Well, I wasn't already beforehand, but now that it's all together in the pan, I am getting the smells of what it's supposed to be smelling like. That's a good sign. And I still got some heavy hitters as far as like flavorings and smell goes. Still got some heavy hitter ingredients to come. So yeah, it's gonna be a good meal. Just want to make sure I cook that chicken, don't I? I usually find, like, I'm not particularly good at that. I don't do it with the most confidence in the world, but I do find that that little shimmy helps to flip the meat when it's in the pan a lot better than if I were to just lift the individual pieces by hand or something like that. I don't know what you would call it. Chicken looking like it's cooking. Shocker, I know. Whoa! Everybody watch out now, he's dating fast. Whoa! So, you come here often. Now, I'm fond of the next step quite a bit. I think I'm gonna let it cook just still a little bit more, because just to be sure. You know, don't want to dry out my chicken, but also don't want to eat it raw now. But on that same line of thinking, I was gonna say I'm fond of the next step for a variety of reasons. In this case, it is because it also helps or cooks the chicken while addressing its main place in this dish, which is the flavoring. You are going to pour some of your white wine, your cooking wine, in and let it evaporate. And in that process of evaporation, the chicken is going to cook more, and all those flavors are going to get to know each other even more, of the mushrooms, of the onions, of the chicken, of whatever seasoning you've chosen to put on it. But again, I would recommend, you know, minimal seasoning, because it's a real hearty dish, and I don't think it needs it too much. Okay. Looking like the chicken might be cooked well enough. So, gonna move on to the wine. What we're gonna do, I'm gonna take this chance to show you what my pan's got going on. My little Conad wine. It's a grocery store here in Italy. Pretty cool. It's my pan. It's my pan right now. Look at my dishes. Don't mind them. And some trash and other things. I'm gonna pour it in. Whoop. There we go. That's my pan. I'm gonna pour it in. See, this is why I hate induction stoves, man. That was supposed to sizzle a bit. It would have been very satisfying. But regardless, I'm gonna let that evaporate. Let the flavors get to know each other. And finish it off with the cream. But I think that will take a while, and I don't got much to say else, so I'm gonna do a quick video at the end of it to show the final result, and you're gonna be happy with it. I hope. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.